Welcome back to ISF. You know, the right book can be transformative and offer perspectives that you may not have been aware of. And today we are going between the pages with two authors, Glenn Williams, a retired detective, and businessman Jeff J. Hunter, who created the AI persona method. We're going to talk to them both about what inspired their new projects. Both of you, welcome to ISF.
Well, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Between the pages, where we dive into the literary works of incredible people such as yourself. Glenn, with you, your book, Bridging the Gap, an inside look at communications and relationships after traumatic events. This book is both autobiographical but also educational, as for someone as yourself who has served and have been in law enforcement for close to 30 years. You've seen some things and you've been through some things that obviously have impacted your life positively and negatively. Why did you decide to write this book?
Well, as a 26-year officer and detective, I saw a lot of traumatic things, as every officer does every day. I developed PTSD, and I did all of the related detrimental behaviors, and I destroyed my marriage because of quitting talking and not sharing things and things like that. And I did it twice because I'm a slow learner. And after that, I spent 3 years alone at my cabin where I did some deep self-accountable soul searching, and I learned ways to heal, and I learned ways to work through PTSD or with it, and ways to communicate more effectively. So I'm able to have a great relationship now. I got lucky. And if I can help one person not do the stupid things that I did, then I still win. So I talk about ways to reduce the effects of PTSD, as well as divorce, as well as suicide. Plus, the book is a great addition to my 8-hour training course that I provide for law enforcement.
So you offer a course to share what you found that was beneficial and helped heal. You all want to talk about that, but why were you not talking about what you experienced? What was holding you back from that?
I did not want to traumatize my spouse. I did not want her to worry about the things that were happening. I mean, there were a lot of things. I almost got run down by a car. I went through a door when shots are being fired, pulling babies out of ponds and doing CPR and things. Just those aren't the things that you want to share with a spouse.
Glenn, you mentioned you have a course now. Tell us about it.
It's an 8-hour course for law enforcement. And it actually could be for anybody that's experienced trauma. And after COVID, everybody's experienced trauma.
Definitely.
But I talk about ways to communicate traumatic events without traumatizing the spouses or your partners, because that's where the problems start, is when we don't talk.
Right. When we suppress and not share, that's where healing can exist, can occur. Jeff, welcome to ISF. It's great to have you on the show. You are someone who has melded the worlds of business and artificial intelligence. Very interesting. How did you arrive at that approach?
I started a virtual assistant company back in 2013, and the word is leverage. It's always been about leverage, and I've always been obsessed in IT. I come from a project management background. I was a Fortune 500 IT project manager. One of the things that's really crazy is AI is getting so good that I've been able to figure out how to create a very human-like AI persona that you can plug into your business that can do lots of different functions. It can do your marketing, social media, it can write emails for you. And, unlike the disadvantages of humans, it never asks for a raise. It never disappears. It always meets deadlines, and it's available 24/7.
Your book is called The AI Consulting Blueprint. That's interesting that, well, one, yes, AI doesn't talk back to you unless you're Megan, the doll Megan. We're not talking about. But so what have you seen? How has it been successful, and what have your clients been able to glean from that experience?
Well, it's really hard to find really talented copywriters and marketers. And the really good ones are very expensive. And this is actually something that was a wake-up call for me, being as you can see from my hat here, I'm the savage marketer. I started seeing that my job was at risk, that I might be going away because people can copy all my posts and put them into AI, and using natural language processing, it can actually imitate my writing style. It can imitate the writing style of the greats. And then I started saying, you know what, it might be useful if I pivot and say, you know what, why don't I be able to teach people how to use this in their business? And that way I, position myself as a powerful tool instead of somebody who's going to be replaced by AI.
That's some impressive forward thinking. Very, very clever of you, Jeff. Good. So what are some examples that small businesses are using to compete with larger companies when it comes to AI?
Well, definitely the larger companies have larger payrolls. So we're able now to have an AI, even just using the free version of OpenAI, ChatGPT, which is, you can't even escape it. You go on Facebook and you scroll, you're going to find some sort of advertisement for some ChatGPT prompt pack. But now for free, you can have an incredible marketer on your team that can do, your social media, can create email newsletters, can re-engage and do better customer service. Actually, I have a pretty large team myself, and each one of them has their own AI persona that they use to do a variety of things in the company.
It's fascinating stuff. Glenn, getting back to when we read Bridging the Gap, an inside look at communications and relationships after traumatic events, what do you want the readers to take away from the pages?
I want them to know that communication is key to healing. If you have trauma and you don't communicate, it's going to come out in nightmares and things that'll affect you down the line. It'll affect your relationships. And every relationship is based on good communication. So if we heal ourselves, we improve our relationships with our family, which then ripple out to our communities, and we can have great relationships throughout our communities.
Well, thank you both for spending your time with us today on Inside South Florida. All the best.
Thank you, Jason.